Downhearted, as the Queen used to be eager for her calls from the US, but his complaints reversed all. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Harry had shared a tight and close bond up until Her Majesty's death, but there are recent claims that the grandmother and grandson's relationship wasn't always pleasant, and when the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex had stepped back from their roles as senior working members of the royal family in January 2020, Her Majesty had responded to their requests by saying in part, "My family and I are entirely supportive of Harry and Meghan's desire to create a new life as a young family. Although we would have preferred them to remain full-time working members of the royal family, we respect and understand their wish to live a more independent life as a family, while remaining a valued part of my family." Then, Prince Harry had stayed in touch with Queen Elizabeth after he and Meghan Markle had relocated to the United States, as Prince Harry had constantly rang the Queen during his time in the United States, according to a source. As a royal expert has told of how the late Queen Elizabeth went from excitedly taking calls from Prince Harry when he had moved to the US, but gradually becoming perplexed by his complaints. As Richard Kay had told at how the beginning of Harry's time in America with his wife Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, he had a close bond with his grandmother. As he wrote in Mail Online, Harry yesterday was not just mourning the loss of a grandmother, as she was always the figure to whom in his anguish he turned as his royal life unraveled. As there's no doubt that grandson and monarch had a close bond. As the Queen's staff had told me how, in the early days of Harry's exile in America, the Queen would excitedly take his phone calls. And over time, this had changed as she later became perplexed by Harry's complaints. But Prince Harry's love for his grandmother was palpable. At the Queen's funeral, the Duke of Sussex could be seen wiping a few tears from his eyes, as Harry had made the trip to Balmoral Castle in Scotland, long after hearing of his grandmother's declining health. Unfortunately, he was not able to make it in time to see her before she died. As before, sources close to Her Majesty has claimed that the late monarch was hurt and exhausted when the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex quit the royal family in 2020 to start a new life. As they also claim it was a source of sadness to the Queen that she got to see a little of her grandchildren Archie and Lilibet, as she was upset that Harry and Meghan didn't join her in Balmoral for the annual sleepover that she held for all of her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. As the Sussexes have arrived at Westminster Abbey separately, with Meghan travelling with Sophie, Countess of Wessex, Kate, Princess of Wales, and Prince George and Princess Charlotte, while Harry had walked behind the coffin with his brother and father. As they reunited to take their seats, sitting side by side for an hour-long religious event. And now with the Sussexes reportedly set to return to California on Wednesday, Sydney time, having been unexpectedly separated from their young children Archie and Lilibet for more than 2 weeks. What is clear is that even something so sudden and tragic as Her Majesty's death has not been enough to breach the divide that now exists between the couple and the House of Windsor.